Yo, what's going on, guys? Welcome back. We are here for Season 7. This is the Inter-America Challenge. It is good to be back. I have missed seeing these guys race, and for the first time in the last 4 seasons, we are finally covering the Pro League. So we got a mix of drivers here. We're going to have the top 25 are going to be our pro drivers, followed by the second 25, so 25 to 50 is going to be our high silver. This is the first time we are covering this competitive league, so I'm excited. The racing is going to be a lot tighter, and we have a lot of new names that we have yet to see. So this is going to be a good one. Really quickly, I want to apologize to the high silver guys. I did not have enough time to get your graphics ready, but let's go ahead and take a look while we're on the formation lap. Let's go ahead and take a look at our lineup for this season. Now, these are not in any sort of order. This is just the order of the sign-up. This is not our current leaderboards for this race, but we just have a couple drivers. Justin G, we've seen him multiple times in the last few seasons. Joel Dallas, definitely a fan favorite. Same as Christopher Greer and Fed Holgado. Couple more drivers here. Mike Seeger's new to the league, so or at least this is the first time that we've seen him in the broadcast. Jeffrey Bray, someone we've seen time and time again. Dan Lund, I believe he's returning after a couple seasons that we haven't seen him. Peter O'Brien, constant favorite, definitely one of mine. Moving on, Doug Welzel, I hope he's here tonight. We've seen him a few times. Michael Medina, I believe this is the first time in the broadcast that we're going to see him. Kurt Moss, I mean, you guys know Kurt. First time I think we saw him was Season 3, so it's been quite a while. Robin Borden, if I'm not mistaken, that's our Season 4 champion. Season 4 is Season 5, so it's exciting to see Robin Borden one more time. Osween Wilson, we have not seen Osween or Ozzy. We haven't seen him before, so excited to see what he can bring. Brennan Schmid, another guy, crazy fast. And I mean, look who's behind him, the H-Man, Harrison Lynn, and Wesley Lamy. So our pro drivers, it's going to get pretty hectic here. JD Daniel, I don't think we've seen him before, so we're going to see what he has to bring. Rogerio Santos, saw him last season, new to league. The guy was quick. So was Paulo Alex. Bruno Fantozzi, we haven't seen yet, so he's part of the Brazilian crew, so let's see what those guys have. They have nothing but speed. Talking about speed, we have a new crew to the league, to the roster. THR, Andrew Berg, Eric Diaz, who's our current pole sitter at the moment, Mateus Campos, Mike Fazal, we saw a bit of last season, and rounding up the pro league, that's Jeremy Mercer. So again, to the high silver guys, I do want to quickly apologize. I did not have enough time to get your graphics ready, but count on them for event number 2. A quick look here at the timetables. We have Eric Diaz, Brennan Schmid, Jeremy Mercer, Peter O'Brien, Joel Dallas, JD, Justin G. I mean, coming off from the what was the Fun League, which then became, I already forget the secondary, the multi-class. Justin G not on pole. That kind of tells you where this league is sitting right now. Daniel Lund, Fed Holgado, and Mike Fazal. So all in all, guys, the speed here has ramped up quite a lot. It's going to get pretty intense, and honestly, I am excited. I don't know what this league is going to bring this season, but it's going to be great. Now, a quick shout-out. I know we didn't cover the Silver League. That was only 25 of the drivers. But to our previous commentator, Nick King, we're going to be excited to see him, what he's got going on in the high silver. And we have plenty of more drivers in the high silver, which we will cover more in depth next round. As we come to the end of the formation lap, we are about to get started with the Inter-America Challenge. I don't know if I didn't bring that up before. This is the Inter-America Challenge. Why the Inter-America Challenge? Well, most of the drivers here are made up of North, South, Central America. As we approach the line, and we're green and we're racing here in Paul Ricard. Everything going good so far. It looks like Eric Diaz is getting a good lead. Peter O'Brien trying to make the move on Brennan Schmid. It's not really working. We have Jeremy Mercer down the middle trying to split the 2 leaders. It looks like he's going to make a bit of contact there, slightly push pushes out Eric Diaz, loses control, a bit of oversteer. Now Brandon Schmid making contact into turn number 2. All the cars in the back are going wide, but it looks like Brandon Schmid and Eric Diaz are maintaining that battle, although Eric Diaz has now lost it out. Peter O'Brien having to go a little wide to avoid Jeremy Mercer, and Eric Diaz over the humps, having to get around through the curb. That is unfortunate for Eric Diaz, losing quite out a bit. And we have Peter O'Brien down the inside of Jeremy Mercer, as it looks like JD Lund and Joel Dallas are fighting further on in the rear. Brandon Schmid now is going to get away down the Mistral Straight. There comes Joel Dallas trying to dive down the inside of JD Daniel. It's not going to pay off just yet for Joel Dallas, as it looks like Fed Holgado now is going to also get around him. Justin G, not sure if he made up a couple spots, but he's getting that toe right off of Joel Dallas. It looks like Jeremy Mercer and Peter O'Brien are having quite a bit of a scuff. It doesn't seem like much has changed, although I could be wrong. I believe that Peter O'Brien was behind Jeremy Mercer as we went into the straight. So far, it's going to be a tough one. And excuse if I get the names wrong. It's our first event, so I promise I will brush up on my liveries, which, by the way, we should have quite a sea of liveries. So if you see anything you like, I mean, these guys got some pretty good talent. So, or ask them where they got that download from. Anyways, moving a little back here with Joel Dallas being followed by Mike Fazal. Moving on back with the leaders one more time. We're going to check up on High Silver in just a bit. Brandon Schmid still ahead. Eric Diaz now quite a ways away. I believe that he is not going to be too happy with Peter O'Brien, as that initial contact into turn 1 lost him out quite a good amount of time. Brandon Schmid, though, not disappointing, keeping up that pace. We've constantly seen that from Brandon Schmid. It was a surprise not to see him on pole, but I don't think that he is quite upset too much anymore. Let's move on further back. Jeremy Mercer still chasing down Peter O'Brien. And it looks like Fed Helgado has closed the gap a lot more now to JD. Whereas, unfortunately, Joel Dallas has lost out quite a bit of time to the Aston. Let's quickly move on back. Mike Fazal still chasing him down, followed by Carlos Plaza in the Red Bull McLaren. Bruno Fantozzi being chased down by Kurt Moss. Kurt trying to get a good toe. And it looks like Kurt is going to go for the move. There he is. Kurt moving on the outside, trying to get around Bruno Fantozzi. We're still going down the straight, still has plenty of room, keeping the car down the inside. And they're battling it out. It looks like Bruno Fantozzi is not wanting to give it out. He is not going to let him have it just so easily. And we have Paolo Alex there going very wide right behind him. Aiden Benitez in the Bentley, keeping it tight. Daniel Lund, we saw him quickly approach him. Great job by Daniel Lund. And it looks like Eric Diaz has retaken the lead. That's going to push Brandon Schmid back into P2. I think now he's going to be very upset. He's going to try to push that Bentley back up. Peter O'Brien now still maintaining the lead from Jeremy Mercer. In a couple turns, I do believe that he is going to make the attack. It's possible he's eyeing it here in turn 1. And he's not going to make the approach just yet. Let's push on back a bit more. Everybody's starting to get space, starting to peel away from each other. Daniel Lund in the Lamborghini catching up now to to Aiden Benitez. A little closer back, we have Zach Felix in the Ferrari. And it looks like Andrew Berg is catching him up. Let's take a look here at Ozzy. Somewhat in a good sea of space. He's going to have to make that distance to Andrew Berg. Michael Medina, however, it looks like he's going to have to lead that battle for P8 as Wes Lamey follows right behind, and Robin Borden. I did mention that Robin Borden was one of our top drivers back in Season 3. It doesn't look like it's the days with Charles Saylor right behind him. He has much faster company to contend to now. So we're going to catch back up with Robin Borden and find out what happens as he chases down Wes Lamey down the Mistral Straight. Not much of a tow. I believe that he's going to make a move right at this moment. Rafael Stofo, this is one of the new guys we have for Season 7, part of THR, as he's being chased down by Nicholas Villela in the McLaren. Goes wide, Rafael Stofo. The H-Man, still not so much of a battle for him as he goes wide. He's going to have to keep that Godzilla a lot tighter. And here comes Max Graf in the Aston Martin. Great job keeping it down the inside. Mike Seegers, though, very close as Harrison Lynn brought that re-entry pretty aggressive. But, I mean, you can't blame the guy. The grid is pretty tight, so he's going to try to keep as many positions as he can, which it looks like he did not lose any. Mike Seegers now. Max Graf trying to fight it out. Down the inside goes Max Graf. Not Max Graf, Mike Seegers down the inside, and he made the move stick. For such a wide car, he put it in a tight space with a nimble entry. Great job by Mike Seegers. I do believe this is the first time we've seen him here in Season 7. As he now approaches the GTR of Harrison Lynn. If you look over to the leaderboard, it looks like we have a good mix now of pro drivers and silver. It seems like we have a good bit of silver drivers that have that pro pace here in Paul Ricard. Christian Michelli attempting to catch up to Jeffrey Bray, who's closely following not Harrison Lynn. You got to forgive me for ACC leaderboards here. Oh, and Max Graf, unfortunate. Send it a little too wide now. Jeffrey Bray down the inside as Christian Michelli gets a bit of oversteer, has to overcorrect on the car. Jeffrey Bray, great job putting the car down where it needed to be. Unfortunately for Max Graf, he was just chasing down Mike Seegers a little too much. He lost control into the braking zone. That allowed Jeffrey Bray to get on by. And now Christian Michelli is hot on the tail. But it looks like Nick Gatto's not too far behind. He's going to catch up for that battle as we look for P23 here with this good little group. Going back with Max Graf. Christian Michelli right on his bumper. Oh, and it looks like Harrison Lynn and Mike Seegers go a little wide, and so does Nick Gatto. Forgive me there, had to think for a second. We're going to go back with the leaders. It looks like Eric Diaz is still maintaining his lead. However, Peter O'Brien for the upset, moving on to P2, pushing Brandon Schmid out. There goes Brandon Schmid down the inside on Peter O'Brien with the Bentley. That Barney colored 720 is going to have to fight it out. Brandon Schmid, very aggressive, still on the outside. And it looks like Peter O'Brien is going to have to give it the position, even though Jeremy Mercer is going to move down the inside. There he goes on Peter O'Brien. Decides to pull away at the last minute. Brandon Schmid now back into P2. Glad we moved back to see that. Peter O'Brien, though, now showing he has the pace. We've seen Peter O'Brien before in the GT4s. Did not truly know of his real pace, but I think it's more evident now how much speed he has as we go down the straight. Peter O'Brien is going to attempt to get that toe, but it looks like Jeremy Mercer is going to have much of a closer distance. And we can quickly see Peter O'Brien trying to break that toe, moving left, moving right. It looks like he's taking a page there out of Fernando Alonso's book. Oh, and there it goes. We did not expect this. Peter O'Brien trying to make a move down the outside, getting as much as he can, but he doesn't. Jeremy Mercer sneaking it down the inside as Peter O'Brien tries to make the move. And they're going to make a slight bit of contact there as they go wheel to wheel. And that pushes Peter O'Brien a bit out. Nothing malicious. That is just good racing. And Peter O'Brien trying to go for this switchback. Not going to be enough. Great job by Jeremy Mercer shutting the door early, hitting that apex. And now JD has caught up to Peter O'Brien. Their racing is slowing them down as Eric Diaz just takes it away. If I might add, he's pulling quite a bit of a Carter close here. He's a Mr. Universe. Great to bring that reference back. Can't not ever do so. It's always too exciting. JD now trying to catch up to Peter O'Brien. Now, this is also the first time that we see JD in this league. And Joel Dallas, our fan favorite, not too far behind. I don't know if you guys might remember this. We've seen him consistently in the GT4s. Unfortunately, he just hasn't had too much pace and just not enough luck on track. It looks like tonight, though, Joel Dallas has brought his A game. The JA zone has paid off. Going to move on back to our other drivers. Daniel Lund now in a sea of nothingness. That's unfortunate. Looks like Paulo Alex is quite a ways away. And we have a bit of a battle here with Mike Medina battling it out now with Oswayne Wilson, a.k.a. Ozzy. Ozzy having to go wide. Mike Medina now is going to get around. Zach Felix also having to go around in the Ferrari. And Wes Lamy, slight contact there with Ozzy. It looks like everybody's getting out of shape here as we go down the straight. That was a tough section. Robin Borden now trying to draft right behind Ozzy. Ozzy having lost out 2 positions to 3 actually with Mike Medina, then Wes, then Zach. There's Zach Felix in the Ferrari chasing down Wes Lamy in the green Aston. Down the inside goes Zach Felix. Wes Lamy having to lift just a bit more. And Mike Medina going wide. That's a lot of curbs. And we have contact with Robin Borden and Ozzy. Robin has spun. He's gaining back control. Not sure what would have happened there, but good job for Ozzy as he takes a slightly wider line. Robin Borden now getting control of the car again. That was a tough one. They went in together and did not come out the same way. Pulling a bit of a Harrison here. A lot much more, I want to say, in control of his re-entry. As we saw him get through, there goes Jeffrey Bray. Mike Seegers now with a drive-through. That's unfortunate for Mike Seegers. Jeffrey Bray, great job. And there's the H-Man now in P25. Hard to say what would have happened to the H-Man. Max Graff, though, still leading the group. Christian Michelli looks like now he's right behind him. They're going to go wheel to wheel down the main straight into turn 1. Rogério Santos, though, representing the Brazilians right there to catch the toe, to get the advantage, to bring the third party. Rogério, the AKA, I believe, the Phantom Menace, if I'm remembering correctly. Oh, and that's a slight contact there from Christian Michelli. Slight early turn in there and contacts Max Graff. The Castro man losing a bit of time now, and unfortunately the Phantom Menace not enough of a distance to be able to catch up. Nate Gatto, though, great job keeping his position, though Garrett Humphrey is catching up with the pixel damage. And shout out here to David Nelson. First time we see him, and it looks like Nick Gatto gets down the inside of Max Graff. Max Graff not only losing out to Christian Michelli, but also Rogério Santos. Now also to David Nelson. That's 3 positions lost, 4 positions lost, as also now Garrett Humphrey gets around in the NSX. That was a tough chicane for Max Graff. Lost out 4 positions. I don't think that's how he wanted to start his season. Let's move on further back. A season-long favorite and veteran, also new steward to the Bronze League, Christopher Greer. He's running in the Pro League, so it's kind of surprising to see him so far back. I don't think that his qualifying session went too good. Chris Sweeney, though, great job. First time out, also from THR. Now making up that distance to Christopher Greer. We're going to come back and hopefully find out what happens. A bit more closer racing here. We have Renato Coelho. This is the first time we've seen him in Season 7. Obviously, it's the first time we've seen everybody in Season 7, but this is the first time that we've seen everyone, some of these guys in the broadcast. Renato Coelho running P34 in the Silver League. Justin G, we saw him earlier at the top, has not pitted yet, so he has had some sort of accident. We can see a lot of damage there to the front end of his car. He is in that white McLaren, being chased down by David Manice in the red Ferrari. Javier Marquez, wishing you all the best, man. He unfortunately lost a friend earlier this week. So our condolences, man, and prayers and our thoughts go out to you and your friend's family. I believe he mentioned his name was Diego Fernando. So that's why tonight he has on a black livery in honor of his friend. And now he's defending from Justin G. Justin, very aggressive. We've seen him before, both in equal machinery. We're going to find out now who has the better setup. Justin G getting that toe. Also, it looks like David Benitez is going to have quite a bit of a move as he's going to try to split them. Decides to move on with Justin G. Down the inside they go. Justin G on the getting in front of Javier Marquez now as well. David Benitez with the move. Fantastic job by David Benitez utilizing the toe down the straight. Oh, and Justin G losing it out, taking too much speed. Hopefully he avoids the wall. It's possible that this is the second time that we've seen, or that's the second time that that's happened. It's possible that's how he lost out to all those positions earlier on in the race. Moving on further back here with Andrew Marsden. Another veteran now, I believe two-time driver in 604. Driving here with Brett Vaughn, although, pardon, that is not who he's driving with. That's Mike Seegers we quickly saw behind him. Although you have the 69. Oh, and it looks like Javier Marquez coming into the pits now. That's Rob Ruggiero in the BMW. Rob always fancies his BMW, so it's great to see him in a car he knows so well. Although it's weird to see where Mike Seegers is at the moment. Hasn't pitted either. That's P36. It looks like he might have had a moment just as well as Justin G. I believe we quickly covered that. But let's move on back with the leaders one more time. And guys, really quickly, if you're in chat, go ahead and if you have a specific driver, a specific POV, let me know. We'll switch to it. It looks like Eric Diaz, though, still carrying out the lead. And with quite a ways away, and looks like the number 25 is off track. We have a yellow flag. That's Garrett Humphrey, and it looks like the number 27 as well. Another THR driver. I know I quickly mentioned his name not too long ago. And I think that's Christopher Sweeney. And it is. That's unfortunate for the two. It looks like they made contact. And now Brett Vaughn goes down the inside, gets around, and Garrett Humphrey with another spin. Team Pixel Damage is just not having the best of luck tonight. There goes Max Graff. Mike Lewis in the Aston Martin quickly behind. I believe that's Eric Nervison there in the lime green Ferrari as Garrett Humphrey regains control of the car. Great job. Great rejoin. That's unfortunate for Team Pixel Damage. Moving on back here, Eric Diaz maintaining that lead. Brennan Schmid having fallen down to P7. Honestly, guys, the positions are changing here way more drastically than I expected. It looks like Harrison Lynn there now blocking up the cars. He is a lapped car as we have Fed Holgado getting pressure from Joel Dallas. Harrison Lynn, a guy with a lot of pace. He's not happy. He's flashing them. He is not excited about where they decided to make the move. I might argue that they just had to make it somewhere. We've seen, if you guys want to take a stroll down memory lane, we've seen Harrison Lynn very aggressive when it comes to blue flags, especially in the GT4 car. Now with the GT3 car with a lot of pace, I know that it sucks being down further where you need to be, and being lapped halfway through the race has not got to be a good feeling for the H-Man. As Joel Dallas defends from Brennan Schmid, although having lost out now to Fed Holgado. And it looks like we have a request for Christian Michelli. Christian currently running down in P26. Looks like he's fighting it out with David Nelson in the number 42 AMG. David Nelson trying to go around the outside. Christian Michelli doing a great job of sticking it down the inside. It looks now Kurt Moss is going to get down the inside. Christian Michelli going a lot wider. He's breaking up his line. Now Justin G also going to get involved. I do believe that for Justin G, it is not for position. It is just, he is now getting through lap traffic. That's unfortunate for Christian Michelli to come back and see him lose out 2 positions to Kurt Moss and David Nelson. Hopefully the Castro man can have a little bit of better luck. It looks like our NSX fam not doing a great job here tonight, not getting a lot of control. Potentially the downforce on the car is costing them quite a bit. Let's move on back once more with David Nelson. Doesn't look like Kurt Moss has maintained the gap, although he is catching up now under braking. Cannonball Lewis. All right, we're gonna move on first to Rafael Stofo. Gonna get away from the racing. We'll come back to David Nelson and Kurt Moss as we quickly see them now down the Mistral Straight. So far, he did not make the position. We'll come back to them in a second. Rafael running behind Jeffrey Bray and Nicholas Valela. Not much to see. We're gonna come back one more time. Let's find out what happened to David Nelson. And it looks like Kurt Moss now trying to go down the outside. There he goes, Kurt Moss. Great job getting a good toe. David Nelson now getting behind, ceding the position. I'm sure he's going to come back and try again once more. Let's find out where Cannonball Lewis is and Kurt Moss going wide. That's going to push down David Nelson. David Nelson trying to dive down. Kurt Moss rejoining a lot more aggressively. We got close to having a bit of a scuff there, but we got away just fine. Let's find out what Cannonball Lewis is up to, aka Mike Lewis. I believe that Thrux Mark 1 is aware of his exploits in Silverstone last season. The man did not care about the apex. He was there to mow the grass and get through in the fastest way possible. Surprisingly, in Paul Ricard, he's been a lot more behaved, so that's great to see Mike Lewis learning from his Cannonball days as he chases down Max Graf in P29. It's great to see him running pretty high up, although we see a good group of guys who have already completed their pit stop. The pit window has been open for the last couple minutes. We have 12 minutes left. Mike Lewis will either need to build that gap or find a way to get around. Going on back with the leaders now. Eric Diaz still leading this group. He's quite a ways away. That's 5 seconds from Jerry Mercer. Brandon Schmid now in the pits. And Peter O'Brien getting around Jeremy Mercer. Jeremy Mercer looks like he's getting for that switchback. And Peter O'Brien having to fight out the car a bit more, having to go wide, get on those curbs. Still not closing that door early enough. It looks like Jeremy Mercer is able to maintain the car a lot closer into the apex. JD Daniel, though, right on pursuit. The man's ready to third party when you need him. If I'm not mistaken, I believe he is the host of the Simcast. If not, and that's a sponsor, check out the Simcast. Down the straight we go. It looks like Joel Dallas just went into the pits. Fed Holgado as well. There's Joel Dallas now, as well as Fed Holgado. That's a fight we're going to want to watch as they're still attempting to find their pit box. It looks like these two are fighting it out for position here. That's quite a tricky one, but great to see them both line up. Moving on a little further back now, P5, we have Mike Fazal right behind the H-Man, which I must say, I believe Mike Fazal is running one of the best liveries this season. It is Bin Juice Racing. Great to see them out. The number 5 there, you have the AMG. As Carlos Plaza in the Red Bull, catching up quite fast, as I might add. And unfortunately for the H-Man, this is more traffic for him as he's under blue flags. Mintzilla has not come out strong tonight, and that's quite gutting to see. Someone else we haven't mentioned too much of, Paolo Alex. Oh, and that's contact, unfortunately, with Mike Fazal. I'm not sure what would have happened there with Mike Fazal. It looks like he dropped in speed a lot. Probably wanted to keep the car on track, and that cost him a lot more. I think he should have just taken the off-road, as now Christopher Greer is going to have to avoid that traffic. I believe that's a bit of commentator's curse. Always happens. Christopher Greer now racing for position with Mike Fazal. Actually, I might be mistaken there. It does not look like that is the case. Christopher Greer in P35, so it's kind of crazy to see how quickly some of these guys have gotten lapped. Mike Fazal now coming into the pits, and you know what? I think I'm starting to probably realize why. As the pit window is starting to come to a close, everyone now is sorting themselves out. David Benitez now coming out of the pits. Great job by Christopher Greer, although unfortunately it looks like David is still 2 positions ahead. And Benito Garza, aka Black Viper GT, in P38 with a drive-through. Zach Felix now trying to come up on David Benitez, and there it is. The leaderboard has caught up. So great job by Christopher Greer with the undercut, coming up now ahead of David. Although Zach Felix, I can't seem to place him. Zach Felix now getting around. And there he is. It looks like he is in P6. So I'm sure he was pretty angsty to get around. And back to the leaders. Surprisingly, have not pitted yet. The top 11. So there's an interesting pit strategy going on here. And it looks like we have a request to commentator curse Christian Michelli. I'm not sure how I can do that purposefully other than doing something like this. Christian Michelli now fighting with what looks to be, if I remember correctly, that's Christopher Sweeney. I don't think they're racing for position. Nope, that is not Christopher Sweeney. That's Benito Garza. But that was not for position, as Benito Garza, we mentioned earlier, is down in P37 at the moment. So thankfully for Michelli, he is going to get around safely this time. No commentator's curse thus far. As for the Audi cars, I believe we have 3 cars. One of them is Andrew Marsden. Andrew Marsden currently running in P32. Another Audi is Nick King, which I don't seem to see him. We have lost 8 drivers, which is quite unfortunate. There is new rules to the regulations for Season 7 regarding leaving before the race is over. So depending on whether if they had penalties or not, now I might not get the regulations 100% correct, but if they had any sort of penalty prior to leaving the race, that is going to be a stronger penalty into the next event. So let's hope all those that did were able to clear up enough laps post whatever reason, and you know, they're not going to have too much of a tough time in the next event. But yeah, it looks like on track now, Andrew Marsden might be our only driver in an Audi. And it looks now like the leaders are starting to pit. We have Eric Diaz in the NSX Real-Time Racing now coming into the pits. JD as well, currently running P2. Now we have Zach Felix and Nick Valela moving up into that P3 and P4 slot, which is quite interesting as they've not pitted, and they're running in the silver class. So it's good to see them running this high up, even if for the moment. And there goes Zach into the pits. Nicholas Villela now our highest running silver car. Let's hope he keeps that spot, but it's going to be quite interesting to find out how it happens once his pit is has been completed, which he only has less than 5 minutes to do before the pit window closes. So let's watch out. Let's hopefully he comes back in this next lap. Eric Diaz, now having completed his pit stop, is now out, and he's pretty much clear to send it for the rest of the race. Nicholas Villela now our pole sitter. Great job by Villela taking a silver into P1. JD Daniel, Brennan Schmid in 16. That's a tough place to be. Hard to say how much of that is pit strategy or not. Unfortunately, everyone ahead of him has now pitted, so something has happened to Brennan Schmid, causing him to lose out more than, I want to say, 13 positions. That's quite tough as he now chases down Michael Medina, followed by Andrew Berg. Peter O'Brien, though, managed to keep his slot, still running in P3, which in the next couple laps will probably become P2. Doesn't seem like he has too much grip on those tires, sending the car very wide. Jerry Mercer 3 seconds behind him. After the pits have now settled, it looks like we have quite a bit of a gap between the drivers. Although here's JD and Fed. I believe this is the highest placed battle we have going on at the moment. Joel Dallas trying to catch up as well. We have a nice little train here for P5. And Nicholas Villela now in the pit, so now we should come back to our proper order. And there goes Fed Holgado trying to make the move. He's going to line up the car on the outside coming into turn 1. Joel Dallas following right behind him. Joel deciding to move out, get a bit of a tow from JD. It's not going to happen. David Manice now is going to get into the mix in the Ferrari up ahead, running in the silver class. Fed Holgado having to give it up, get that tow, get right behind him. David Manice is going to be a great catalyst to this fight. There goes David Manice. Great job staying outside. That might have affected Joel Dallas just a bit, but I could be wrong as Joel Dallas is still keeping his position. Let's go ahead. Let's go on board with Fed Holgado as he chases him down. Scrap that. Let's go on board with Joel Dallas. If we can get the right camera angle. There we go. And oh man, this is interesting. Everyone trying to get a tow, but too many JDs. We have JD Daniel, Joel Dallas, another potential JD. JD, again, in P4. Great job trying to break the toe from Fed Holgado. There's the lift from Joel Dallas. Great job hitting the apex, keeping the car on track. We saw the markers. Oh, and Joel Dallas with the late braking. Unfortunately, that seems like it might not have been intentional as the gap has slightly increased to Fed. There it is one more time. Joel Dallas, the man with the sticky foot. Great job putting the car where it needed to be. He's catching them up under braking, but the Bentley just not having enough, I'm not sure what it could be, enough downforce, just not enough of a straight line speed on this track. Now, forgive my nonsense here if I'm spewing incorrect facts. But it just doesn't seem like the Bentley has the straight line speed on Paul Ricard to catch up. Looks like the tow has been pretty ineffective so far for Joel Dallas as he's chasing down Fed Holgado. Fed Holgado now quite a ways away from JD. Let's go ahead and quickly go to Oswin Wilson in P14. And it looks like Mike Fazal is attempting to make the move into turn one, decides to pull away, gets right behind the Bentley. Osween Wilson in the 86 Bentley. It looks like he might have suffered the same fate as Brennan Schmid. We saw these guys running a bit higher up from the start. It's a lot of damage carried by Ozzy. I'm sure it has not been an easy race. We can see clearly there the right side of his car is just completely battered. Left side is just perfectly clean. It looks like he has a great pace. Mike Fazal just not able to make the move. Does not seem like the tow is going to be substantial here for Mike Fazal. I believe I just called him Mike Dallas. Pardon. We're going to break away as soon as we get through the turn. Find out if he was able to have enough of a distance. He closed the gap, but just not enough for the overtake. Coming on back now with the leader, Eric Dallas. Or I think I'm just going to call everyone something Dallas now. Eric Diaz. It's going to be a tongue twister, guys. I already see it for this season. Eric Diaz hanging on strong, has not budged from that position after his quick battle with Brennan Schmid at the start of the race. Brennan, unfortunately, started P2, has now fallen back all the way down into P13. He has gotten ahead of Michael Medina, and now he's going to be chasing down not the Porsche in front, apparently. I believe that is a lapped car. If I'm not mistaken, that is Brett Vaughn. Brett Vaughn currently running P38. So that is a lap car as he lets Brendan Schmid by. Benito Garza with a 10-second penalty. I believe we saw him with a drive-through earlier. Not the best night for the Black Viper tonight. David Nelson, I believe I saw him quickly. There it is. I knew there was a battle going on. I sensed it. He's chasing down Renato Cojo as Harrison Lynn leads this battle for P23. And there goes David Nelson trying to make the move, decides not to pull, gets back onto the racing line. Christian Michelli, as we've previously seen a request, there he is now, P26. Now getting into the mix, Harrison Lynn still defending that position, doing a great job of leading this train. Renato Cojo definitely in the hunt, although he's not safe as David Nelson is right behind him. We can quickly see Garrett Humphrey there with Kurt Moss, although it looks like Garrett Humphrey was giving away the position as Garrett Humphrey is currently running in P40. And there's Eric Neverson now. Garrett Humphrey chasing him down the Mistral Straight we go. Team Pixel Damage just having a tough night tonight in Paul Ricard. But Eric Neverson still maintains that lead. It doesn't look like the tow is going to be quite sufficient for the overtake. And we're going to move on back with Harrison Lynn. Harrison Lynn having to defend from Renato Cojo. Renato sending him down the inside. David Nelson trying to get involved as well. David now side to side with the H-Man. It's going to come down to the breaking point. It's going to have to push him on further wide. I think Harrison has had quite a bit of a couple moments here. We saw at the start of the race. Decides to slow down, not send it too far up. Rogerio Santos in P20. Doesn't look like he's in much of a fight as he chases down Jeffrey Bray, but Kurt Moss now getting involved. And it looks like, surprisingly, Rogerio Santos, and that's why he has a drive-through. That is why he's going to move into the pits. And it looks like Eric Neverson having an interesting moment. We're going to quickly go back if I can find him. There it is. We have quite a slew of cars here now as Garrett Humphrey is still fighting with Eric Neverson. Although it looks like the bigger battle that we want to see here is with Renato. they are lapping Garrett and Eric here while maintaining their battle. So it's going to be a tough one for Garrett Humphrey when he decides to let them go, when he keeps fighting. And there's Eric Naverson losing control, going a lot wider, having to now let the cars go by as he's under blue flags. That's going to push him quite a ways away from Garrett Humphrey. How far Garrett Humphrey is going to keep that position down the straight, I don't know. Harrison Lynn going wide on the exit. It's getting a lot tougher here as we come into the final moment. Christian Michelli, final 10 minutes. Christian Michelli now trying to catch up to the H-Man. Mike Seegers looks like he's gotten away ahead of Eric Naverson as well. And it looks like David Nelson is pulling behind Renato Cojo. These two are battling it out pretty hard. David Nelson right on his bumper. Renato getting that outside line, going a bit wide. David Nelson much tighter, although Renato has positioned the car in a perfect position to keep that inside line, pushing David Nelson a lot wider. David Nelson trying to go for that switchback. Not enough room, decides to keep it right behind him. If David Nelson keeps up this pace, I believe we're going to see an overtake coming into turn 1. And it looks like Renato is putting the car in, is braking more in the middle of the track, although this seems like it's allowing David Nelson to get a faster exit as he's using that wider line. And it looks like he can't move over now. He's going to push Renato Cojo down into the inside line. David Nelson taking the outside. We're going to see a similar move. There he goes with the switch. Great job by Renato, keeping that line, pushing him out on the outside. Renato now in a more advantageous position, even though it looks like the faster speed is going to go to David Nelson. Almost a bit of contact. David Nelson with the faster line. Great job with the overtake on Renato Cojo. Although the H-Man is not too far behind. Although, yep, it is for position. Mike Seegers right behind the H-Man. On the hunt now for Renato Cojo. Renato still on the toe with David Nelson. So far, this is a great battle. Looks like another one we have here. We're going to switch away quickly right after the turn. We're going to move over to Michael Fazal. It doesn't seem like Mike Seegers is going to make the move. And we have a switch in position, unfortunately, for David Nelson. Renato Cojo, great job getting that toe. I might have called it a little too soon. But this battle with these two is going to rage on for a little longer. We're going to move on to Mike Fazal for a sec here. If I want to trust our interval, it looks like he's lost a bit of time. And David Nelson, I'm glad we didn't leave. Can't really speculate too much on what happened there. Got a little too close, too much oversteer, just sent the car in the wrong direction off track. Renato Cojo is now free to chase down Jeffrey Bray. Fortunate for David Nelson. It's going to be a kicker, as we've seen great racing. And Mike Fazal still on the hunt for Oswayne Wilson. Zach Felix and Brett Vaughn in the back, not for position. One more time with the leader, Eric Diaz, still maintaining his lead. We've seen this time and time again. Carter Close, Thiago Chiquetto, now Eric Diaz adding his name to that roster. That's a great group of company to be in the midst of, and Eric Diaz is proving out that he might be the contender for the championship. Peter O'Brien, though, doing a great job. Peter O'Brien has surprised me, I believe, more than anyone. Seeing him only in the GT4s, it's great to see him with equal machinery. So I have high hopes for Peter O'Brien. Jeremy Mercer, though, first time seeing him out, not too far behind, as he's followed by Javier Marquez, although that is not for position. JD running in fourth. He is one of the only Lexuses out here, as we see Max Graff just struggle with controlling that Aston Martin. Fed Holgado right behind, not too far. He's going to have to get around Max Graff. Although Joel Dallas right there with him. He's not going to let him have it too easily. And we have Cannonball Lewis right behind, doing what cannonballs do. Carlos Plaza, haven't really talked too much about him. Looks like he's running by himself, quite a ways away from Joel Dallas, so that's not much for him to catch up on. Paulo Alex, P9, quite a bit of a quiet race for the Brazilian. It's going to be a tough one to really make up any more positions in the next 4 minutes. Just going to have to keep that consistency and stay within the top 10. There's Daniel Lund now ahead of him in the WPI Lambo. Haven't seen much of Dan Lund since, I believe, Season 3. We've seen him in that Minty NSX. I believe that's Daniel Lund. Correct me, guys, if I'm wrong. And rounding up the top 10, we have Aiden Benitez, another guy that we've talked about for the last 3 seasons, I believe. Although it's not P10 like it says on my end here, that's P13. And that was not P8 for Dan Lund. I apologize. Really quickly, here's the correct order. Eric Diaz, not Brennan Schmidt. So it's quite... you guys have heard me say this time and time again. ACC tools are not the most friendliest. So, correct order. Eric Diaz, Peter O'Brien, Jeremy Mercer, J.D. Daniel, Fed Hogado. That is your top 5. Joel Dallas, P6. Carlos Plaza. And I guess, yes, that is Dan Lund. I apologize. I said it. I took it back. And I'm saying it again. That's Dan Lund. P8. So, yeah, that's interesting. Not sure what's going on there. And there goes Bruno Fantozzi with the top 10, getting around David Manice, which what looks to be an eager Aiden Benitez trying to get around him. Nope, I knew that was not him. That is Brennan Schmid. That was a misclick. Now, that one was user error. Pardon, guys, for that. Brandon Schmid trying to get a toe down with David Manice. He's doing a great job now making up the positions. Last time we saw Brennan Schmid, I want to say about 15 minutes ago, he was down in P33, P37. The man has made up quite a distance. This was a point where everyone had already established their pit stops, so unless I made a mistake there and my timing boards were not caught up, Brandon Schmid has had one heck of a drive catching back up, unfortunately losing out quite a lot of positions, but hopefully in the next 2 minutes he can put himself back in the top 10. Moving on further back, trying to find a quick battle here. Ozzy still leading Michael Fazal. We've quickly touched on this one prior. Wes Lamy, Zach Felix, Nick Valela, not much to really talk about, as well as Rafael Stofo. Jeffrey Bray running out the top 20, as it looks like Peter O'Brien is right behind him, about to get through. Renato Coho, unfortunately now going a lot wider. I believe these moves are for position. There goes Mike Seegers and David Nelson trying to get around for P20. There goes Mike Seegers. David Nelson, unfortunately, avoiding the contact, going around. Renato Coho must not be happy now. Mike Seegers is going to be pushed up into P20. As now David Nelson tries to go around the outside, does not make the move. That's a lot of suspension travel for the Ferrari. I believe that's going to cost him a bit in straight line speed now, as David Nelson had a cleaner exit. And it looks like that was not the move for David Nelson. Putting the car now down the outside. He's going to get pushed out there as Renato Coho closes the door. I believe, if anything, these two are forming quite the rivalry for this season. And as we are on the final lap with Eric Diaz, we are going to quickly switch away from this battle. Going to check on one more time if David Nelson was able to make the move on Renato Cojo. I don't want to quickly break away. I know we talked about these guys in excess. Oh, that's such close racing. Down his bumper on the Mistral straight. David Nelson trying to make the move on Renato Cojo. There he goes, sending it down the outside. Renato Cojo still flat out. He's not going to give up this position. We've seen how this ends before. Renato Cojo with the faster speed. David Nelson decided to give it up, moving on back one more time, gonna get a faster speed. Where is he gonna put the car? Coming out into the turn, decides to go down the outside, getting blocked by Renato Cojo. Oh, he's sending it wide, keeping it within track limits. Very close now into the braking zone, trying to get away. Renato Cojo doing a great job of maintaining that position. We've seen how that ended before, badly for Renato Cojo. I think he learned a bit on that one. Putting the car now down the inside, closing the door. David Nelson not being able to make the move. Great job by these two. They have given us quite a spectacle tonight. Let's go ahead and look at Eric Diaz now as he's coming around the final sector. Oh, and that M6 having to brake to avoid contact with Garrett Humphrey. That's Rob Ruggiero in the 69 BMW. As we see Andrew Marsden quickly behind. Eric Diaz now on the last two turns. There he comes now in the final turn. As he approaches the line, it looks like it's going to be a P1 finish for Eric Diaz, winning out the season opener. There he is, the championship driver, I'm calling it. It's a tough one. And Kurt Moss, it looks like he has had his lap or his race finished quite early. We see him there on the outside of the track. So that's going to be P2 for Peter O'Brien, P3 for Jeremy Mercer, P4 for JD. Federico Hogado, great job with the P5 finish. As we have now Joel Dallas now crossing the line for P6. Carlos Plaza, P7. There it is, Dan Lund with P8. Paolo Alex keeping it within the top 10. Great job by Paolo. P9, didn't see quite much of him. And it looks like it's going to be Aiden Benitez for P10. Great job by Aiden. Michael Medina with the P11. And unfortunately for Brennan Schmid, again, not sure what would have happened to him one more time. We saw him P11 chasing down, I forget who it was in P10 and now P17. That's unfortunate for Brennan. Mike Vazal coming in P12. That's an odd place to put his car. Zach Felix, Wes Lamey, and it looks like drivers have started to leave the event. So it's going to be quite a bit hard to go ahead and find out where everyone ended. I think something different that we're going to have to learn from here is with the multi-class league, it was pretty easy to find out who was where. But when it comes to the silver and the pro league, some of their times are just pretty close. As we can see here, there's quite a mix of drivers. It really is just going to all come down to overall luck throughout the race and track position and strategy, of course. So just the racing is close is what I'm trying to say. Now, guys, I've neglected to inform you of this. We've just jumped on and kept it going. But if you might notice there, the lack of absence of our co-commentator, Giancarlo Lenzi. He was not able to join tonight, unfortunately. Usually that's who goes ahead and does our post-race interview, which I don't believe we've set up properly for tonight. Yeah, I don't believe we have. So, there is a green room, actually. Good. All right, so let me go ahead and post in chat, guys. Don't leave just yet. We're going to see if we can get some guys to come in for... Actually, you know what? Let's... I'm going to go ahead and surprise them. I'm just going to jump in here. Probably should save this replay. I think that would be smart. I know I've done that before where I haven't done so. All right, so it's going to be quite tough to get drivers in here for the post-race show. We're going to try to organize this a little better for event number 2. So if you guys are sticking out for the post-race show, I apologize. It's going to be a little shorter tonight. But I did want to cover lap 1, quickly find out what happened to everyone else. Let's go ahead and just see what went on. Give me a second here as we set up. Quickly, though, while you guys are still here, I want to say thank you for joining. The event number 1's always pretty interesting as we try to get set up and figure things out for the season. All right, there we go. Actually, I think it would have been better had we positioned ourselves somewhere outside. So let's go ahead and go down into turn 1, find out exactly what went on. It doesn't look like our ability to keep the camera from following was effective. So we saw this early on in the race. Brandon Schmee trying to chase down Eric Diaz. And here comes Jeremy Mercer with the early on contact. This unsettled Eric Diaz quite a bit, although it doesn't look like it affected him too much. Going on for a second there, it almost looked like it did. Great job by him maintaining control, keeping his head down, and just getting the car where it needed to be. Quite a bit of a traffic here as we see David Nelson and Mike Seegers getting pretty close here. And obviously the camera's going to follow, so I apologize for that. Doesn't seem like to be too much trouble. Everyone kept it clean for the most part, is what it looks like. Apologize one more time for that. Last look here at turn 1. Yeah, so far I can say all went pretty good, pretty clean. So I am going to cut it kind of early here, guys. I apologize. We're going to get structured a little better for our post-race interviews, and hopefully everything can get a lot better. Really quick, I want to say the pronunciation was Eric Narwhal. Apologize about that. So I kept saying Eric Neverson, Eric Narwhal. So I believe I'm saying that right. Correct me if I'm wrong, Eric Narwhal. But anyways, guys, that's going to be it for Season 7. I apologize with the end. It's quite a bit rushed. But again, we are going to get better structure. And for the silver drivers, your graphics, I apologize for that as well. We're going to get those on time next time. But anyways, guys, that's going to be it for me. Thank you so much for joining for Season 7, the Inter-America Challenge. Eric Diaz taking it away with the lead. Great job by him. And again, thanks to the stewards, the staff at 604. Mike, you guys, it's going to be an exciting season, and I can't wait to see what happens. So, guys, that's going to be it from me. Have a good night, and we'll see you again next Thursday. Goodbye.